to the community and kind of how to approach a presentation and things like that. Because one thing where else, there's a lot that we have in common, but there was one thing that you said, that was my philosophy in investor relations and raising capital and dealing with people is meeting them on their level. And I've seen a lot of times over the years where operators and sponsors, who are in the thick of it every day after day after day, it's hard sometimes to remember the person you're talking to may have very little concepts of the definitions and the day to day that you're doing, all that kind of stuff. You have to, and I feel like in order to do that, you have to ask the right questions. It's all about questions, right? Like you've been given some really great context and questions for an investor, an LP, somebody on the passive side to ask. But it's important too for sponsors to ask the right questions, understand what is somebody's experience. You're going to build rapport that way. I mean, this is about finding out where they're at in their life and what experiences they've had, what their goals are, what they're investing for, all that stuff.
I read this book and I'm going to highly recommend it to anybody who's into like connecting with their customers. And it was called I think it was the Dan Sullivan question. His question was, if you were looking back 3 years from now, what would have needed to have happened to make you happy with your progress financially and personally? And you ask somebody that during your introduction meeting, and it will open up a world of discussion. New at my job and I'm saving up for my first house. You get to hear all the stories of why an investor wants to invest and what they think the next 3 years, what would make the next 3 years successful. It's a great question to ask.